Hello and welcome. Mike Queen here to talk about the iFlight Nazgul Evoque F5X. Now, I've put together a lot of drones over the past 3 years, and I've never come across one like this. I've searched and searched the YouTube channels and everywhere, Google, everywhere I could possibly think, and could not find an installation guide of this frame. This is the frame only of the Evoque F5X. And I thought, you know, I've spent a lot of time trying to figure this out since there was nothing to tell how to put it together. So it looks like I may be the first to put a video out here to help someone if you're struggling. Or maybe I'm just only one. The rest of you all might be geniuses and already understand how all this stuff goes together. They do provide, usually iFlight provides really good directions. This is pretty good. It's exploded view. The only thing it doesn't tell that we need is we need this stuff here in the box there. We didn't know where that goes and how it mounts, how it wires. There's nothing on that. So here I am today. I'm going to show you how to do it. Here's what you get in the box. Side panels, a couple flight straps, some pads. And I'm just moving this out of the way for now. We're not going to need that till later. And then here's your parts of the drone. Now here's what's interesting is we get with it these two pieces here, which I had no idea. You know, where do you mount them? How do they go? How do they wire up? They don't come with wires. So I will show you how to install it. Now this here, I made a cable for this. This is a SH 1.0 cable. This is what I normally use for all my drone hookups. This usually ties into the flight controllers and everything else. And this is no exception. This cable that I made up will fit this. Here's the kit I use to do the cables. You can get this on Amazon. Very handy kit. So there's your connectors. And here's your pre-crimped wires. And it's going to look a little different if you order on Amazon, because I do have different size wires on Amazon. They're just all the long type. But I've collected those other wires from different kits. But very easy to assemble one of those connectors if you've got the kit. So we'll just plug this into here. Nice, great fit. So, oh, and it looks like that wire pulled out. So it's good to know this before we're in actual flight. So this is very easy to fix if they pull out, and you guys can get a look at how to put these together. Here, let me grab a set of, you just need a set of tweezers. And I must have not pushed this one in far enough. So you just push it in there with the barb pointing up. And just give it a little push with the tweezers. And be good to give it a tug like that. So, yep. So I didn't check that good. I'm glad that we checked that. So yeah, it fits in there great now, and no wires should pull out this time. There we go. push it in. Yeah. So yeah, we'll give it another check. It'd be bad if we already had it mounted and we find out that you know, that's not even going to fit. Let me zoom in some on this so you guys can see better. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that's ready to go. Now, here's something very interesting. I'll show you, first of all, how I come up with my color codes on where it goes. Luckily, these side panels, they come with this plug on it. Man, I was thankful for that. And I used the same color codes as what they did. And they've got the letters D, V, G, as you can see. So I just put those same color codes on the same letters. As you can see there, it's a GVD. And the codes stand for ground voltage, and the D is LED. So that was helpful. I have everything consistent. And I'm so glad that this come pre-wired into this injection molded side panel. Very nice panel. And I told you I was going to tell you something that was kind of strange. I was not expecting this, so I went ahead and I was preparing to wire another one of these connectors because I figured that everything's got to plug into this. Now, I've seen some teardowns where they've went into this model when they're, you know, store-bought, ready to go. And, you know, it never went down far enough to where I could see all the goodies, but I never seen this in any of the disassembly. They were like unplugging wiring harnesses, but I assume with this kit you build, you get this, which is kind of cool. It's probably better. It's got a buzzer, and it's got like a little junction board here. And it looks like there is some electronics in it, maybe a couple diodes, so I'm not sure what they do. So this is a place to where you can plug your stuff in instead of a harness. So this is where these guys would go, the side panels on each side. Your LED, this will go, this other LED, I'll show you there. This is a LED with 5 outputs, center and 4 for the arms. It should go here. I was just planning on putting another plug on there, but to my surprise, this plug is smaller for some reason. I'd never run into that. I thought, oh man, how am I gonna find out, you know, where to get that plug? I've never used that size ever. So I learned, if you want to know what size plugs to get, just take your measuring tool here and you measure the pins across. When you measure it, they come to 1.5. Mine, on my smaller one that I normally use, is a 1.0, but 1.25 is what it would go to. That would be your measurement. And then just look on Amazon and you'll come up with, not that kit, that's the wrong one. You'll come up with a brown box. And these are the 1.25, and they're called MX connectors. They're slightly bigger. So that was a surprise. But I got this kit. It does have a bigger gauge wire. So what I'm going to do is, and I've already made this up, this, you can see how much bigger it is than this one. Pull it out. So yeah, there you see the comparison. So yeah, too big to fit. And also these cables, you can see they're a thicker gauge. So to make this wire continue on from the LED strip to the junction point, I will just solder these two plugs together like this. I'll just take that, I'll wrap the wires together, and I'll put some heat shrink tubing on there to make a jumper wire. And these kits actually do come with heat shrink. Looks like it's just the right size right there. So yeah, I'll put some heat shrink and make my jumper that way. So I'm going to plug this back in. You probably might be wondering why I'm like plugging this in here. There's a reason, which you'll see. You need to plug this in now, even though it's not hooked to anything, which I'm going to demonstrate why. So it's not hooked to anything, but let me come back out some. But I want it on there now. This is the first part of the build. Do this first. You say, why should I do that first? Well, I'm going to show you. Get your wire. It should be about that long. If it's longer, it don't matter. You're gonna have to cut it and splice it. So get that in there. You're going to see the kit comes with this. Where does it go? What is it? Well, it goes right here in this cutout. And what it is, it's where the LEDs sit. So that pushes in there. And I hope I didn't put it in upside down. I did. Okay. Okay, let's push it out. Okay. So it's got a cutout there. I put in upside down. It should go in this cutout, just like this. So you can see me make the mistake, so you don't have to. And that should be flush, perfectly flush when it's in there correct. What happens is this LED in the center, right there, it will shine through this, and it looks really cool. It'll shine light through there, so you'll see it, the iFlight symbol. Now, we've got this ready to go. Now let's go ahead and prepare our frame to accept this. There's a trick to getting this in, and these wires are going to help us get it in. Also, another thing I did leave out, it comes with this here. This stuff. You see that LED piping or fiber optic, whatever you want to call it. It's just a flexible clear tube. Comes with 4 pre-cut. You push them into the arm, which I already did, and then take it and press down on it really good to push this up in here. And how you know you got it in right is this on the end needs to be flush with that arm. You don't want it to hang over, don't want it to be back. It needs to be flush. This part here doesn't matter. You can curl it around, which will probably look cool. I guess you could cut it off, but I think curling around will give you more light, because you're going to want light to shine through these pads here. Get a nice green color. So let's go ahead and start and put these together. There are different arms. There's one labeled arm A, and there is an arm B. Luckily though, you can't mess up. They'll only bolt down a certain way. This is the top of the frame. You can tell because this part is cut out. So this is the top, bottom, and we'll want to mount to where the LEDs are on the bottom. So they're going to be shining on the bottom there. You know you got the right frame in place if those holes line up. If I try to put arm B there, I can't, luckily. So you don't even have to worry about arm B. It will not fit. It just will not go. So there we go. And what we're going to do to start off, I'm going to bolt the arm and the plate in. So what I'm wanting to do is prepare this for the LED system. This is the best way I've found to put the LED system in. What we're going to do is we're going to bolt down a couple of these arms first, and then we're going to pull it into here with the wires that are hooked up. So let's get this bolted together here. All the bolts are marked. Here's some markings on some. It's very handy. And you can figure it out if it says if there's 4 bolts. We know that there's only 4 bolt holes for this section here. When I say 4 bolt holes, I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4, these guys. They are pre-threaded. You know you have the right bolt if that's flush. Should be flush right there. And this is the front of the quad. Putting in the front arms. You tell the front from the back. It's lower. Back here's your 4 bolt holes for the Vista. Assuming you are doing a digital build. So put this other one in. Well, come on, Ike, what's going on here? Am I putting it in wrong? Nope, okay, there we go. I love the way these arms lock in, man. I'm really impressed with this frame, despite the lack of directions for the LEDs. Also, don't tighten these up all the way. Back off some. Slightly tighten, then back off. Yep, like that. Okay. It'll make so much easier when stuff's not all the way tight. Okay. Now, here's the part where I had so much trouble figuring out how to get in here, get this thing mounted. So the way it mounts, you've got, I call this a pull wire now because it's in there. I'll twist it up so I can get a grip on it from the other side. And what we're going to do is we're going to feed it up through this hole here. Get some tweezers. That's where your wires have to come out. There is no other place for them to come out. You're going to want the Now that I got the wires through, you're gonna double check. You're gonna want the LEDs, the main LED right here. That's got to be pointed downward. So flip it over, plugs on top, and just push it into here. Now we're going to use this as a pull wire to bring it on in. So you see that a little better. Okay. So I'm going to pull it into place with that wire. So look at there. I mean, that puts it almost exactly where you want it. It's not quite there, so what I'll do is I'll give it a little help. I'll use this driver here, and we'll give it a little push and hold the wire. And you'll feel it when there's some slots in the arms it's going to go into. Do you see this slot right there? See that? There's a little cut in the arm right there. It's going to fit up in there. The 4 arms are going to lock this board in. So let's get this locked in. There we go. There we go. You can kind of, when you get in place, you can kind of feel it click. And yeah, right there. So it's wanting to move around some. We'll fix that by sticking an arm in. You want to do this gently. Don't like force it in. You could break that board. What we're trying to accomplish is we want the board to fit in this slot. Okay. Okay, I think I got the wrong arm. There we go. So we'll stick this guy in. We'll kind of shake this around a little bit. Wiggle it around to where she'll fit good. All right, so you can see it's almost about centered there. So without forcing it, I should be able to put a screw in here if it's lined up right. Okay, where's my screws at? If I can find my screws, there they are. How I could tell which one was right is it should be level with that. So we'll push this through. Okay, good. It's a good sign. Trying to keep some pressure on it to where that arm and the board don't fall out. I'm gonna have to move it away from the camera here to get this to line up the way I want it. Oh, it would help if I had the right size nut driver. That's why it wasn't going in. Had a little one and it was just spinning. Okay. So snug it, then back off slightly. Because you want a little bit of flex. So you can see that board still kind of moving around. When we put this last one in, it'll be tight. It will not go nowhere. Yep. Yep, feels pretty good. Let's see, make sure I got the right size. Measure. Yep, That's the right size. So, going in from the bottom. Yeah. So yeah, she's almost there. Wrong size. All right, let's raise this camera up so. There we go, that's better. Okay. All right, so now you can see it's right, it's centered up, it's moving around a little bit, but when we get everything tight, it will snug up quite a bit. All right, so there you have it. That is, if you don't know how to do it, that can be a real pain. But now you know how to do it, so it's going to go very well for you. The rest of it is, let's see, let me go over something else you may struggle with knowing where it goes. You got to know where to mount this. Luckily, the directions do kind of hint where that goes. But they don't mention this thing, and I'm looking for the piece I need. What happens when you have too many pieces out? I try to put what I don't need in the box. Okay, where are you? Okay, I'm looking for my LED holder. We'll get this other stuff ready while I'm looking for that. Yeah, luckily in the directions, they tell you, here it is here, they tell you that you need to mount the buzzer grommet right here. I think when they were Rode, they didn't have a combo buzzer LED controller. So that told me if that mounts there, then this guy will mount in there like that. Let me show you. And it's screwed in. It's a TPU mount. You just take two of these screws and you just put it directly through the TPU. There's no need to put nuts on it. It should stay. I guess you could if you wanted to. You could put some nuts on top. But I find that it's pretty tight. It's not going to go anywhere. Let's put these screws in here. And just don't keep spinning them over and over. You need to leave something for it to grip on. So there you go. That is not going nowhere. That's in there. That's in there pretty good. And then take your junction, your LED controller / wire junction panel / buzzer, and just push it into there. just like that. And there you have it. So now you can see your side panels. They'll go in that, one for each side. This, after we splice it to the larger connector, will plug in right here. And then this one I made up, because it doesn't come with any wiring besides the pre-wired sides. And this will plug into there. It's 4 wires. This will go into your flight controller. So there's going to be one wire, which I use the red for. That's going to be your voltage. You're going to have one for your ground wire. And then you're going to have another wire for your LED, which will be the yellow. And then finally, for the buzzer, I put it blue, B for blue. So you'll just wire these into your buzzer and LED pads on your flight controller. So you'll probably just solder these on, or your flight controllers may have a plug. You might have to make up, you know, another harness. But yeah, so that's how you get that going. So I think that there, if that's the part that I could not figure out very easily. And I think from here, by using these directions, this exploded view, you can figure it out the rest of the way. Now, something I want to point out, I'm getting ready to end this video, but something that I need to point out that's going to cause issues. Okay, so here's the sides. I bought this frame. I could have just bought it. I wouldn't even have to dealt with this. I could have bought the full-blown kit. And, I mean, not the kit, the full-blown pre-assembled drone for a pretty reasonable price. But I wanted to build it because I've got, I already got motors laying around. I just want to try out these cool motors. It's got they're the smooth motors, solid magnet. I just want to try those out. I already had a DJI camera. I just pulled it out of another drone. I already had this, and I had about everything else that I needed. It had a really nice all-in-one KISS flight controller I was going to put in here. It's a really small form factor. It's a 20 by 20 mount. It absolutely will not fit with these sides on. You do not have enough room. I've got 7 different flight controllers. I thought, well, I'll put Betaflight in it. None of them will fit this quad. So you can see, get that other side panel. You can see there's not a lot of room. So this goes. So that'll go, it'll mount like that. This will go here. So you are limited, and try to get as exact as I can without actually mounting it. You're limited on the room here, so none of my flight controllers would fit. So I had to get an iFlight controller. That was a cost I wasn't expecting. And I also was wondering, well, what's this all about? What's that hole down there? Is that to mount something? Does the crossfire go there? But no, the crossfire goes back here when I looked at the pre-builds. They go there, and you leave room for your button to press here. This, if you haven't used this kind of flight controller that they want in this drone, there's a capacitor soldered on the bottom. And I'm saying flight controller, I mean ESC. There's a flight controller, because my flight controllers would fit this. I forgot, I had some that would fit. The ESCs just would not. But anyway, so I went with the stack. The ESC has a capacitor mounted on it that sticks down in the bottom of this. I never seen one like that. It's kind of cool in a way. So it's good to have a capacitor already soldered to the bottom of the ESC. And I never have used that kind. I'm sure many of you all have, but it's going to sit right down in there. That's already carved out. So that's going to have a home. Now, if I'd have known I would have had to buy a flight controller for this, I may have just went with the pre-build. I just assumed I was going to be able to build it exactly how I wanted. But expect to buy that, or you're going to have to do some rigging. And personally, I don't like a quad that looks rigged. I don't want to do anything of these panels because they look absolutely gorgeous. So I decided to bite the bullet and get the iFlight Blitz Mini Stack. That's what this calls for. So that's it for now. This should be enough to get you through. Follow the directions. If anybody is interested and need to see the whole build go through, if you want to leave me a comment, I may post it. I'm going to go ahead and I will video it just in case there's an interest, and show the entire build process and what the finished product looks like. So iQueen out.